Fantastic.
Awesome.
All right. So what topic would you like to start off with?
Lovely. This is gonna be so fun. Sorry. I'm gonna go with pro-choice.
Okay.
I think that it is the woman's choice, that individual woman, and that it shouldn't be taken away. I think there are too many incidents that happen. A lot of people's counter arguments are, well, people abuse it, or, that's killing a person. And it's just like, I think you should be able to have it. I don't think that right should be taken away from someone. And, I might be reaching out here, but just rape and stuff, or molestation, just getting raped, and you shouldn't have to explain yourself to anyone, whether it's you got pregnant because you and your husband did it and you don't want the baby anymore, so you're careless, or you got raped and it's not your fault, or whatever it is. You shouldn't be stuck with that decision forever. So
Right.
That's my opinion. But
I'm also pro-choice, but up to an extent. There should not be abortions past the second trimester.
Right. Okay.
You can't do that. So I guess playing devil's advocate, I suppose. So would you say that the fetus does not have any rights at that point?
Like before it's I don't know. Like, you mean before it's formed into a little baby?
Well, you said that it would take rights away from the mother. So is that implying that the fetus does not have rights, or no?
I guess. I mean, that sounds terrible, but yeah, I guess not.
Okay. So then why is when a baby's murdered and the mother wants it, if you kill a woman and she's pregnant, it's a capital offense. You can get the death penalty for that.
Right.
What's the difference on that?
I mean, she chose to have the baby. And at that point, she could have chosen to get an abortion. She chose to have the baby. You're either stuck raising it, or you give it up for adoption, or whatever. But you gave birth to it. It's not your right to take it away once it's been born.
That was my question, though. How is one okay, but the other isn't? When one, the mother wants it, and so if that woman's murdered and that mother wants that baby and she dies, then that person gets the death penalty. But the other one, it doesn't play over. There's a large difference. So how would you? So I guess if we have the same scenario that the woman's planning to get an abortion, and someone murders the woman, does that person still get the death penalty even though that woman didn't want it, or no?
I guess I'm not understanding your question. Does the woman die or does the baby die?
The woman dies, but since the woman is pregnant, you're technically killing two people, because killing an infant if you kill a woman that's pregnant, it's a capital offense, at least in my state, and I think in California. So so you can get the death penalty for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the woman wants the baby and gets murdered, death penalty. But the woman plans to have an abortion, someone kills the woman, what should happen?
Oh my God. I really don't even know how to answer that. It's just, someone's killing your baby, or you as being pregnant with your own child. I don't know.
So what this question exemplifies is the rights of the fetus. Mm-hmm. The woman has the right to give rights to the fetus or not give rights to the fetus. So when the woman wants the baby, everyone's like, oh, how's the baby, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that would, it's not a part of her body. It's, how's the baby? No one asks, how's your body? Mm-hmm. That's silly. But when the woman doesn't want the baby, it suddenly doesn't have rights.
I mean, and I do agree with what you said, actually. I didn't think of it like that. What you said earlier about you shouldn't have an abortion after, so long, like a certain trimester. What did you say? Sure. I actually agree with that. I think if you're gonna get an abortion, you should go ahead and do it probably when it's, at the smallest, before it's actually forming into something that you could possibly give birth to. And I just think,
I mean, you can give birth to it at any point, because the moment at conception,
but it's not going to be a healthy baby, and the chances of it actually surviving are so little anyways if you do give birth to it so early.
Yes, but by the 22nd week, it is developing into a human.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's kind of there. It's not like a group of cells. There's only a group of cells for the 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's what I'm saying. I do agree with you that it shouldn't be past that point or to that point where it's forming into an actual human baby. But early on, if you're going to get an abortion, whether something bad happened to you or you were careless, whatever your situation is, one, you shouldn't have to explain it to anyone, begging. That just raises so many issues. You could have someone who's careless and then the law be like, oh, it's all, because some people do argue this. Some people argue that, well, under circumstances, you should be allowed to get abortions only if you're raped or something negative to that effect. And it's like that just raises that opens doors for bad things, like people claiming they were raped just to get an abortion. And I'm sure there's tests that would be implemented if that really was the law and that was the case. But you shouldn't have to explain yourself if you want an abortion. That's your right. Again, probably early on, like you said, which I agree with.
So I guess, in simple, my question to you is abortion morally correct?
Morally? No. No. But should it be taken away ever? No. I mean, I think you can't just take that away or make that something you can't do, because
take what away?
Take away the option to get an abortion.
Right.
You can't take that away. And it may be morally wrong, but people do things that are morally wrong. And if you take that away, that could be 2 deaths.
Punished, though?
That could be 2 deaths instead of 1. So if a lady is pregnant and she doesn't want it, and it's, you can't get an abortion, she could kill herself, essentially killing 2 people. She could try and get the abortion and do it herself.
But isn't suicide a crime, though?
Yeah,
aren't moral people that, do immoral things, aren't they prosecuted and charged?
Not necessarily. No. Not if they get caught. A lot of people don't get caught for what they do. I mean, and
there's an entire show about how they almost didn't get caught. They usually get caught.
Eventually, but probably not right away. If you commit suicide, you're killing yourself and your baby because you didn't get the abortion because it's not legal. Who's gonna throw your dead body in jail? What are they gonna do to you? If you're dead, if you were successful suicide, what? No, you're gonna be your family and all.
Suicide.
Yeah, people attempt suicide and then you get punished. But if you
there's attempted suicide and then just suicide.
Right, and you just said
suicide is when you kill yourself. There's no successful suicide.
Yeah, well, no. You just said suicide. You're like, well, what if you get caught? In that sense, that's an unsuccessful suicide. That's an attempt at hurting and killing yourself. Oh my God. We're talking about a pregnant woman here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm questioning you on what's moral anyway. If a woman kills a baby that, as you said, is immoral, how is me killing, Billy Bob immoral? So if they're both immoral things, killing an object, they both have rights. Why
Billy Bob isn't yours. And Billy Bob is walking and living and breathing and going to school and minding his own business and probably just trying to buy groceries at the grocery store.
So what if Billy Bob's mom killed him?
That's wrong too. Billy Bob is living and walking. But if Billy Bob is this big and has no eyeballs yet, and he's in his mother's stomach because his mom got raped or because his mom didn't use a condom, Billy Bob.
But isn't Billy Bob
could die? Billy Bob could be no more Billy Bob, so he could be dead.
Can't Billy Mom do that though? Because Billy Bob's mom, he is his mother's, and in your case, as you said, the baby's not itself, it's, somebody's mother, and everybody has a mother unless you're a test tube baby. And if you're a test tube baby, congratulations. But like, we're both sons and daughters of a woman.
Right.
That, in your case, could kill us, which is completely immoral, and she would not be charged.
Right. And I agree with that. She should.
So abortion should be charged.
No, I agree with that's what happens. Like the woman can kill her baby, get the abortion. I think that's fine. That's what I'm advocating for. I don't think that should be taken away, that option.
So a woman has a 3-month-old baby.
Okay.
And she kills it.
That's wrong.
But
she gave birth to the child. If she doesn't want it from then on, she has an option to keep it, to give it away, to a family or to a foster home. She chose to have the baby. Okay, let's think of it like a line here. There's a point at the end of that line where your child is in the world now. He or she has been created, and you can either give it away or you can keep it. You can't just kill it. Killing it is wrong, but if you kill it while it's inside of you before it's hit that stage to the second trimester, then you have the option early on to get rid of it. You shouldn't kill your baby once it's alive. Why would you go through 9 months of hell to give birth to a baby and then kill it?
I mean, they're both very immoral. I think, to do immoral things you should be punished for.
That's very black and white.
Yes.
Right. And I think everything in this world is gray, with black and white, but mostly gray. And this is definitely one of those.
I think there are exceptions.
Right. Okay. Sure. Some. But when it comes to this, I feel like, don't roll your eyes at me for this.
I didn't. I was like, all right.
Okay. There are do I think that, if you murder someone or mass murder, that's terrible. Like, you should.
Death penalty.
Right. But.
Fry her ass.
Yeah. But it's like, there are some things that are like black and white like that. But just abortion, there are a lot of people that advocate abortion to an extent very gray, very well, you should only get an abortion if you were raped or if you were put up to it or if you were forced. And it's like,
I didn't say any of those things, though.
I didn't say you said them.
I know, but I mean, you can't argue that if I never said that.
I didn't say you said them. I said people will say that, and my opinion is that you can't. That definitely can't be the case. That can't be the law. Is you can only get an abortion if something bad happened to you. That's not good. Then everyone will be like, okay, well, if I want an abortion, then I'll just say something bad happened to me. That can't be the case. I understand you didn't say that. I never said you said that. I'm just bring up lots of points that we can discuss. Like, that's something people talk about. I think that's ridiculous. But
I would say that it's immoral. But, So I guess for another topic, do you think that there is systematic racism in America?
What exactly do you mean by that? Like, can you give me a situation?
That the government, the white man, the laws in place are purposely keeping black people down.
No, I wouldn't say the government is doing that. If that makes sense. I wouldn't say that the government is like, oh, we have a black president.
Exactly.
I am a supporter of Obama. I personally can disagree, but I do like what he did for his term, both of them. But I wouldn't say that's what?
What he do in his term beside Obamacare?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say that, but just his care, and even not just him, but his family. I really liked Michelle Obama. Like, I feel like what she did was good. I think she really cared about obesity, the issues there.
She took my French fries away.
That's a different argument. We actually had that discussion in one of my classes, like making cups smaller So you have small, medium, large at a 7-Eleven, right? And the larges are extreme. Well, her making them smaller, people's arguments were, oh, that's not right. She's telling me I can't drink as much as I want to. And my kind of thing is, as somebody who's going to go get a drink from 7-Eleven, if you want a large, you're just going to grab the biggest size there. Nobody looks at a cup and says, this large ass cup isn't big enough. I want this much more. She's just helping you out. If you really do want that extra drink, then you can go ahead and buy 2 cups or whatever. And that should be like you're kind of giving to the government for that has a small implement on obesity. That doesn't do much.
So why should we take away size of drinks? Why can't we just teach self-control? Like, hey buddy, you don't need the large, get the medium. Why should we change the size of the thing? Just like with French fries, why'd you take them French fries away? We get certain amount of portions anyway. At school, proportions aren't going to be hella high anyway. It's going to be at home,
right,
where it's completely wild.
And I think you can only do so much. And I agree, like, we should be teaching more proportion, and people should just know, like, you can't really eat till you're full, eat slower, let your brain tell your stomach that you are full. That kind of thing is like, people don't know about that stuff, and people will just sit at home and they'll eat whatever they want, whatever mom cooks for dinner. And you can teach them as much as you want, but people don't listen.
So going back to Obama, what is his term consisted of?
Are you not a fan of, like...
I'm not a fan of Obama, no.
Who are you, who would you say was our best president, personally, if you don't mind?
That's a very good question.
You don't have to answer it. But...
Well, if I don't answer it, that's not fun. Personally, I would have to say FDR. And the reason why I would say FDR is from after the Great Depression, with a war, a very large war in the Great Depression. He kind of helped us out of that. The 40s and 50s are like, it's high fucking living. Like, the 40s and 50s were fantastic. The 20s were great. The 30s is like, shit. It seems like after FDR, America had like its heyday. We won World War II. Our average income per person went high, went a lot higher. The country improved after FDR's and World War II's. But he also increased the size of the federal government, which I'm not a fan of, but given the circumstances, he kind of had to. So, FDR. I think our worst president was Calvin Coolidge, or Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover.
We were all broke.
Yeah. What did Coolidge do? Actually, Ulysses S. Grant was probably the worst president. Under his presidency, corruption and scandals were through the roof. That man had no idea how to be a president. He was an alcoholic. It was awful. Ulysses S. Grant's presidency was absolute shit. So, I don't think I'm gonna be a good president though. But anyway, how do you feel about Black Lives Matter?
I feel, let me just start off by saying this. I feel people don't appreciate my opinion on that subject because I'm not Black. And they really, whether I am for it or against it, I feel like the thing in their head is, well, you're not Black, you wouldn't understand. Well, I'm just saying I I'm for Black Lives Matter. I know you're not. I've read your positions. But my opinion on that is people say, oh, it's all lives matter. Yes, all lives do matter. All lives do matter. All races, all lives do matter. But what Black Lives Matter is and how it was started is to just bring attention to it, just that Black lives do matter and they shouldn't be, taken away for any specific reason just because they are Black or whatever. Yes, all lives do matter, but when people say, no, it's not Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter, that's almost offensive because that's not what they're saying. They're not saying Black lives are better than yours. They're saying that, hey, what the hell, like, I'm a person too. And that goes kind of with Black History Month almost. People say, well, why do they get a month? Why don't we get White History Month? Like, fuck, it's White History Month every month. Like,
except February. And more.
It's not. We don't get disgraced like they do. Like, they'll say, like, oh, well, Black people get disgraced and looked down upon for doing this or being bad people or gangsters or robbers. And then what's the white person say? They say, well, we get, stereotyped for not jumping. Who the fuck cares? Like, yeah, that's not right, but boo-hoo. Like, they suffered a lot. Okay. I can't wait to hear it.
When it comes to specific topics, you kind of like go on a tangent that like is kind of irrelevant. Like I never brought up all lives matter. I think that's also shit. So that's like this tangent information is kind of irrelevant. Because that's not how I feel. Does that make sense?
Sure. But I feel like I'm not just debating you, like I'm having a conversation with you. Yeah. Okay. I'm having a conversation with you, but I'm bringing up different points. And you can say, I don't agree with that at all or whatever, but you can't.
But that's not relevant to the debate.
Okay. So you're against Black Lives Matter because you think it's stupid and you think all lives matter is stupid. How do you feel?
No. I do not like Black Lives Matter because I do not like the people that are for it to raise up former criminals. I don't think you should do that at all.
Okay.
Yes, was police brutality an important issue and should it be discussed? Absolutely. Should we be praising Elton Sterling for being a good person and dying as a hero? Absolutely not. He raped a 14-year-old. He got her pregnant. He was $25,000 in debt for child support. That's not a good person. He's had numerous attacks on police and felony charges for having a gun. So he wasn't a good person. Is police brutality an important issue? Yes. Does it happen more to Black people? In the media, it would seem that it does happen more to Black people. But my question to you, who is more a danger to Black people? Other Black people or white police officers?
I don't think that's a fair question.
Why not?
Because that's what the media shows you is that they're pinning white police officers up against Black people. And I'm not going to make my opinion based off the media. And it's just kind of, I'm not.
It's fine.
And, that's just not fair. What statistics say that Black people beat up Black people more than police officers beat up?
All of them.
Okay. So all of them say what? That the white police officers beat them up or the Blacks beat them up too?
No. That Black people are more a danger to themselves than white police officers are to Black people. So how can you have Black Lives Matter if there's more violence against Black versus Black than white cops versus Black? That's kind of counterproductive. Do only certain Black lives matter or do all Black lives matter?
Okay, I've agreed with you up until what you just said. I do believe, I agree that, we shouldn't be praising someone who died as a hero, quote unquote, whatever. I agree. Like, yeah, he did bad things. I'm not saying like, oh, well, but they still killed him. It's just kind of like and you know what? You go off topic too. And you just brought up these criminal, like what these debates are is bringing up like what is close to it and talking about it too. And you did the same thing. So hold off on that one now. I'm just saying that Black Lives Matter is a movement on media. And side note, you posting your little tweets, hashtag Black Lives Matter, you're not doing shit. I mean, you're really not. What is that doing? Is that really doing anything? No. You're posting your opinions, you're getting likes or retweets, but you're really not doing anything to help the cause that you believe in. You're not really doing anything. You're just tweeting about it. But what it is a movement. And my opinion is that when people say all lives matter, I think that is disrespectful because that's not the point of hashtag Black Lives Matter. The point is just bringing awareness to that these lives matter also, not that they matter more.
Right. So the difference between your off topic and my off topic was that, Black Lives Matter, Black people versus Black people, that's relevant, that's important. How can only certain Black people's lives matter, but the others don't? So that was the question I brought up. It wasn't.
I didn't necessarily say that. I think if anything, you said that more than I did. Right?
I did say that.
Yes. Okay.
So Black people are more of a threat to Black people. So to have Black Lives Matter, that's kind of, well, obviously, but to who? It should be more focused on police brutality than Black lives being affected.
I think that's what the media, I'm not blinded by the media, like, oh, well, look at all these cops, like, killing these Black lives. Like, there could have been anything. They only show you the part where the white cops hurt the Black, they only show you that
part. That's the liberal
part.
Media.
I understand. They only show you that part, but, you never know. Is that the only part? Like, did that Black guy really not do anything? Or did 20 seconds before this video started catching on film, did this Black guy pull out a gun, show it or flaunt it or do something bad? You don't know that. You don't know that. I don't know that because there's video clips and, even people that edit internet pieces, they can say whatever they want. And you really don't know that unless you are those 2 people or 3 people.
I fully agree. I think the media does take a very strange stance when it comes to those kinds of videos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of another topic of mine. So should we have the right to fly the Confederate flag?
Oh my gosh. I don't like these questions because I know you're just gonna burn me with these facts, and I've seen your positions and I know what they are. Let me ask you this. What does the Confederate flag mean to you?
To me, the Confederate flag represents Southern heritage and history.
Mm-hmm.
And it also represents kind of a states' rights approach and kind of as a fuck you to the government. So that's it. That was my answer.
Well, my answer, I'm going to keep this short as well. You can do whatever you want. But I'm going to tell you that people are going to take offense to that.
Of course.
Of course, yes. So my answer
very subjective.
My answer to your question is you can do whatever you want, but people are going to, can you say the N-word? Sure you can. But are people going to get offended? Yeah. Like, you can do whatever you want. You can
the
do
N-word isn't subjective, though.
I'm saying, you're asking, can I fly the Confederate flag?
Should we have the right to fly the Confederate flag? The Confederate flag is obviously very subjective because somebody could see it as racist and whatnot, but the other person can see it as a symbol of history and heritage. The N-word is not subjective at all. Everyone understands that is a bad word. I would agree not.
Right. I think it is a bad word, but some people don't think that. Some people think it's fine. I'm not saying I think it's fine. People use it in language. People use it as, I'd never say that word with the ER or the A. Like, of course it's your favorite word because you're a meanie, but I don't say it either way. And people say, people will say like, well, if you say it with the A, you're fine. Why would you say it? Like, why? What's happening? It's in songs. People scream it at the top of their lungs in these rap songs. People say it like, oh, that's my homie. You don't have to say it at all. Look at him. See, do you think he cares? Do you think he cares? There are people.
Does he understand that that is a bad word? Obviously, that's why he said it. He's not going, this is an okay word. I can say this. This is.
That's what you. It is okay if you say it. That's what you're projecting. You don't have to say, oh, I believe this is okay. If you think it's okay to get tattoos and show them off at work, you're going to go ahead and do that. You don't need a t-shirt that says, I think it's okay to wear tattoos. Actions speak louder than words. Him actually saying it means he's fine with it. He's putting this out there for people to see and screenshot, take pictures, or whatever they want to do.
With the purpose of what?
Whatever they want to do. That's beyond his control now.
So when someone says a kind of word, what is the typical reaction that the person that is reading that or is being told that is?
People can be offended.
Yes. So do you think that he is saying that word specifically to make other people angry, intolerant, or not intolerant, angry and upset?
Sure, whatever his intentions are.
So if that's what his intentions are, then he understands that that word is not a socially acceptable word, and that you shouldn't be saying it.
You don't know what his intentions are.
Neither do you.
Right. But I'm saying he could have good or bad intentions. Beautiful. You don't know that. And you're saying that you specifically said everyone thinks that's a bad word. Everybody knows that's a bad word. That's not true.
All right. So should we not have the right to fly the Confederate flag?
I don't know. That's not something I would do. I really don't like saying on things I'm not so strongly opinionated on that so-and-so can't do that. Like for pro-choice, being able to have abortion, I'm strongly opinionated. So my answer is going to be, I think people should have the choice to have an abortion. For this, I really don't know. And I don't want to say that that right should be taken away from people. You can do whatever you want. You're an American, whatever, you're free, yada, yada, yada. Are people going to get offensive and maybe some people might even get violent? Shit, that's a chance you're probably going to take.
Right. I personally think that we should have the right to fly the Confederate flag. As Logical said, a state house or a government property should not fly the flag because it is not a governmental flag. It was a battle flag. So it was never over any government buildings to begin with. But say if I wanted to fly a Confederate flag on my car, I should be able to.
Right. And I don't disagree with you.
Beautiful. Another one of my positions. Actually, no, all right. You give me one of your positions.
Mine are very liberal. Like, okay.
Okay, mine are very conservative.
And Matthew said that you weren't, but let me see. What did I even write? I think we talked about them. I don't have many. I wrote that Black Lives Matter. I wrote that pro-choice, abortion's okay. Are you on your computer or whatever? Do you have access to see what I even wrote? Like, how do I go back?
Oh, you would have to exit and go to your profile or your own positions.
Well, then never mind.
Could someone check to see what my positions are? I know I have around 37 in gun control. All right, thank you, Shalane. So how do you feel about gun control?
There should be gun control. I'm sure you watched the end to that last debate I was in.
Yes. With Matthew.
Right. My opinion is that it seems, and I'm not going to say it is, because I personally have never taken that gun test, whatever, to have a gun permit, to own a gun, whatever.
Okay.
From my friends telling me that it is very easy to pass that test, and you can check it on the internet how many you have to get wrong out of how many, because I know you're in front of your computer, but it seems like you could miss a lot to get to be able to possess a gun. And You know, they're just, oh, you can be 18. I'm 18. I know a lot of stupid ass people that would love to have a gun and can because they're 18 years old.
So what guns would you necessarily take away or make harder to get? Okay, well, I guess, yeah. What guns, I guess, would you take away?
Well, I know people that go get their gun permits for hunting reasons, but there are some people, like specifically my neighbor next door goes and gets a handgun or whatever it is. I don't know the names of guns. It's a small gun he can put and carry with him. Okay? And he goes and gets it when he turns 18. And I'm having a conversation with him, and he's talking to me about how his girlfriend broke up with him. He's very at a low point. He's not himself almost. And it's kind of like he just let his emotions dictate that he's going to go out and get a gun. He doesn't hunt. He doesn't shoot animals. He doesn't do that. Why do you need a gun? Why do you need a gun? Why are you angry and you have the ability and successfully purchased a gun?
Why that specific person? Why does he need a gun, or why do people in general need a gun?
Why does he need a gun? And then that transfers over to how easy it is for just an 18-year-old with their hormones raging to go out and get a gun.
As Austin said, anybody can get a gun well before the age of 18. Second, your hormones could still be raging after an emotional breakup at the age of 30.
Right.
So I'm sure the level of maturity does matter, but, you know, whether he just broke up with someone and he's upset about it, you know, that can happen at 18, it can happen at 14, it can happen at 56.
Right.
So it's kind of across the board kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could ban, I guess, guns, or do you want to ban guns?
No, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
It just should be a little more regulated and restricted to be able to get a gun. You shouldn't just be like, oh, you're 18, you passed this test, cool, okay, so go ahead. It's just kind of like, what?
Now, are you talking all guns or specifically assault rifles or handguns?
Like I said, I don't know much about guns. To me, a gun is a gun. You put a bullet in it. I know there are guns for hunting and guns for handguns or whatever, but if I had to say, probably obviously the handguns, ones that you can just go ahead and take with you, conceal it easily, whatever.
That's actually very interesting. I've never heard anyone wanting to increase gun regulations on handguns. Most people are for assault rifles. You know, the big, large, scary guns.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting how you're more towards handguns.
I mean, you can get any gun and shoot someone and successfully kill them.
Yes.
So it doesn't, like, really, it just should be getting a gun, period.
So I guess your main problem with guns is the large impact it does with people in general. Like, when you have a gun, you can kill people, basically, large amounts of people.
Right, and I'm not one of those people that says, oh, guns kill people, people, whatever. It's the guns or the people. It's definitely the people, the person shooting the gun.
Right, okay.
And I'm not saying take the guns away from everyone or you have to be a police or army, whatever. You just it should be tougher to be able to get a gun.
So what laws would you like in place to make it tougher? She has a good point.
For defense. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a small gun. I'm saying it should just be tough for you. Like, what are your reasons? Like, you should be having to take more of a realistic test. From what I've heard, that these tests are pretty much just like, do you read? Can you blah, blah, blah? Like, I don't know. Why don't you tell us about it since you have a gun permit? What was the test like?
Damn, I forgot what I was going to say.
I know lots of people that have guns for protection. They're all mentally stable and mature.
So the difference is, you know, the woman that is mentally stable, that is going to use a gun for her own protection, is going to take the exact same test as someone that is mentally unstable.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe it's not specifically the test.
Right.
Maybe there should be mental checks.
No, I agree with you. I noticed you said something about that in the session. I agree with you. I think that actually would be more productive in certain cases.
Yes. I think that if you are on the no-fly list, you should not be able to get a gun. We shouldn't be. Terrorists should not have guns. Terrorists always they want to incite fear and kill as many people as possible. Anyway, so giving a terrorist a gun is just one more motive.
Right.
Also, you shouldn't be mentally unstable.
Right. Duh.
Yeah. With example, Dylan Roof, he is obviously mentally unstable. And the media is interesting about that too, because you only see the photo of him carrying the Confederate flag, right?
Right.
But you don't see him, spitting on the American flag or burning the American flag.
Sure.
I think that's very, very interesting in the way the media depicted that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different topic. Shalane, what is another one of my positions, please? We're counting on you, Shalane. Anybody? What's another one of my positions? I have 37 of them. No free college, thank you, Shalane. Should we have free college or no?
No. Would it be awesome as a college student? Sure, but overall, it's not worth it because that just changes everything. And, who's paying for that college? What if, this single couple doesn't have kids and, college isn't in the future for their kids because there is none? Why are you paying more money, dollar taxes, whatever it is, to contribute to a free college? And overall, that just loses the meaning of college. Like some people, they won't take it seriously if it's free.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. Overall, I think no free college.
You shouldn't have free college anyway. So were you a supporter? Were you a supporter of Bernie or Hillary Clinton during the primary?
I voted for Bernie for the primary vote.
Okay. What were some of the reasons why you voted for Bernie?
Yes, they both do. I just like his, well-being and his presence on stage. I like the way he talked to people. I feel like you really can't have a president. First off, you can't have a president that is disrespectful, like a bad person, period.
So Hillary?
No.
So are you saying Hillary's a good person?
No, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a super fan of any of the presidents.
So she is a bad person.
To me, she's just a person. I'm not supporting her or not. I don't know.
So you voted for Bernie.
Yeah.
Was it just the way he was on stage that attracted you to him, or was it what he believes in? Because that's ultimately what changes what beliefs are.
Earlier in the primary, I was supporting free college, but I did look into it, and people have discussed with me, and I'm totally jumped ships on that, basically.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, totally. That's just bad. I mean, like I said, ideally, would I love to go to college for free? Sure. It's taking up a lot of my money and my family's money. You know what I mean? But is that realistic? No. Like, we can't have that. We can't do that.
Right.
And that's just kind of unrealistic. And then, he did. What did he want to raise the minimum wage to? Like, what was it?
$50.
Oh my God. Oh no. See, I feel like Hillary's is more practical if we were to raise the minimum wage, and I understand that you are against that.
Yes.
I saw that as well. But didn't she say something like $12.50 or something like that? It was lower than Bernie.
Something outrageous. She said 15 at one point.
But she went down, right, to like $12.50. I mean, she's just more practical. I feel like Bernie's kind of just like, we could do this.
For Hillary Clinton to change her positions. So do you think we should raise the minimum wage, or should we keep it the same?
Keep it the same. Because doesn't that just make the taxes more money too? I mean, don't we have to pay more in taxes to be able to pay for these minimum wage jobs? I did see you battle this with Tal. I was like, oh damn. With the sports and everything. About raising minimum wage. And yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't raise minimum wage.
Right.
The awesome. Do you know another one of my positions? ISIS. All right, thank you, Shalane. Should we go to war with ISIS or not?
I don't know much about the topic. Don't throw tomatoes at me, anyone. Thank you. Can you explain your point and just the overall topic in general?
Okay, like I'm for having a large presence in Iraq, kind of giving getting Iraq stable. You know, America remained in Germany and Japan and South Korea after those wars have ended. And they're doing pretty well after. So I feel as if, you know, if America was still in Iraq, a large presence in Iraq, kind of got the ball rolling.
Sure.
Iraq would be in a lot better place.
How do you feel about that?
Which part? Drugs should be illegal?
Sure.
Drugs should be illegal, yes.
Okay. I agree. That's
all of them. Medicinal marijuana, yeah, that's fine. If a doctor prescribes it because it will actually help you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you know, an 18-year-old should not be regularly smoking marijuana.
Yeah. Okay. We're the same on that. I had a discussion with Matthew, but of course he's for it because as we're talking, he's lighting.
Smoke the joint.
That's him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Is there a minimum wage gap? Not a minimum wage. Is there a gender wage gap?
Like how much the female's getting paid versus the male?
Yes. Is women getting paid 70 cents to a man's $1, or is that no, or no?
Isn't that a thing? Like that women.
The wage gap?
Yeah, that women do get paid less for the same job for some jobs. Isn't that
only in very high executive jobs?
Right. So like if a male was a CEO and a female was a CEO of a company, right? That's what we're talking about.
Well, no, because CEOs can make different amounts of money depending on like how well off the company. If they had the exact same company, then they would probably make the same amount, or there would be such a minute difference that it wouldn't matter at all.
Okay, but I guess what I'm asking is that not like an opinion? Isn't that a fact that women do get paid less than men for the same job?
The minimum wage doesn't exist. No.
Why?
I guess my logical. I guess it's not the definition of war. It's a different kind of war, if that makes sense. It's not a traditional, you know, people on the ground, you know, kind of thing. I guess that's what I mean. We haven't formally declared war on ISIS. So, Illogical agrees that there is an income gap. Do you agree with that, I guess?
No, I don't. That there's an income gap for women getting paid less than men.
Yes. Do women get paid less than men, basically?
Yeah, isn't that...
No.
You're saying no, but then why is it a thing that people talk about?
Well, because it's very strange. I don't know why people talk about it.
Okay.
But Mimi says that men should get paid more. I disagree. If it's the same work, they should get paid the same, and they do. In most jobs, hourly wages, they're going to be the exact same. Or the business would employ all women, because women will be cheaper. 70 cents, if we could pay a woman, like say you, $8, but they would have to pay me $11, it would seem smarter to hire all women.
Right.
Oops.
And I don't think that's the case anyways for a minimum wage job, whether you work at McDonald's or a clothing store. I work at a clothing store, and I don't get paid less than the men that work there.
Right.
But my question is, aren't the women getting paid less than men for the higher jobs, those career jobs, those jobs that are salary per year? The salary, not what I make, which is I get paid every other week. I'm not salary, I'm hour. So I mean, I'm not saying yes or no, I'm asking. Isn't that?
Yeah. No, because women usually women are mostly, lower end paying jobs, such as teachers, while men, are usually going to be doctors. Doctors are going to pay around 120K a year. Teachers, 60 if you're lucky. So the averages are a lot different. If
Right.
there are more women librarians and teachers that earn much less than a doctor, combined. It's very interesting. The top 10 highest paying jobs were male dominated.
Right.
The lowest 10 were female dominated. Is it necessarily a wage gap? No, it's a job gap. So
I see your point, but let's say that there's a lawyer that is a female and then a male lawyer. Now you're saying that they're only going to get different pay because of, I mean, there are other factors that play into this now. It's like, well, who's getting more cases? Who's this? Who's the better lawyer? But it's like,
right. Who works more?
Right.
Men typically work more than women. Women, they take time off, they raise a family, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting. Women, they take time off to raise a family. They, labor. They have maternity leaves. There's a percent. I think it was, I want to say 7%. That women work 7% less than men overall. So that's also kind of interesting. If we're going by hour,
right.
By salary, then everyone's getting paid relatively the same. If they're not, the difference is so small that it doesn't matter at all. And that's mostly in the higher up jobs, because if women are, they don't work as long as men, or they take longer breaks, then that contributes to it. I see they're debating in the comments.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming your opinion is that it's a job to job gap, to where just men are dominating in the higher paying jobs than the females are, and that's what people are looking at and construing as like men get paid more. But people would argue that it's men get paid more for the same job, but then you're going to go ahead and say that it's because and I agree that there are different factors that play into it, like who's the better lawyer, blah, 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 who works more hours. So I see where you're coming from.
Right. In the 1800s, women couldn't vote or work, but times are different, and most women now work. Stop with it. They should be at home. I never said that they should be at home with the kids.
He did it
at all. I did not say that. Women typically they join jobs that are children-based more than men. Men aren't interested in children. Women are. That's why girls' first job typically are babysitters. Because what was your first job?
Babysitting.
Exactly. My first job was cutting grass. And, women are more towards children based, nurses, pediatrics, teaching. They don't earn a lot. Pediatrics, they make a lot, which is, there are a lot of women in that field. It's one of the more higher paying fields, and women are active in. But as a anesthesiologist, it's typically male based,
Right.
and they earn a shit of money. But growing up, I had one or two male teachers,
Right.
that are an average.
Well, I would say
60K.
actually, as you get older, it seems almost as though that even the higher paying teaching positions, college and maybe even high school, you do get more male teachers, and that might be a stretch. But even backing up what you said, so I'm not even arguing you on this, is like, even if we're talking just teaching, you're going to see more of the females in elementary,
Yes.
pre-K, and then as you work your way up,
Teaching.
you're going to see more males being your college professor, and they make more money than the preschool teachers, not because that they're male, but because they went to school longer and got their masters and studied longer than the preschool teacher.
Yeah, there's a different pay rate for a preschooler and a
Right.
professor.
Right. And people will say that as, well, they're teachers. That's a male. That's a female. But I understand what you're saying. And I know
Like-
that that's not because he went to school longer. He got his master's to teach college.
Right. But growing up in elementary school, I did not have one male teacher.
Right.
I couldn't tell you if we even had a male teacher in the building. High school, there were more male teachers. High school teachers are paid more than elementary school teachers.
Right.
And the male teachers I did have, they were for college classes. AP Lit, not AP Lit. AP U.S. History and AP Psychology. They had male teachers for those. And I'm sure they get more bonuses and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But all right. Is Shalane still here? And if Shalane is still here, will you please give me another position? Death penalty. How do you feel about the death penalty? Thank you, Shalane.
I think if you kill someone, I mean, yeah, the death penalty. Like, why should you be sheltered in a prison where you're given a house and food and those kinds of things for taking away someone's life?
Right.
I mean, I do think that there may be exceptions. Like, it's not like, oh, you kill someone, you're getting the death penalty. Like, maybe, you should be heard. Maybe if you were pressured to do it. Why do I keep getting these looks? What if somebody forced you to kill someone, or they were going to kill you? There are certain situations you can't just make blanket statements and,
Right.
Right.
But would that not come up in a court case?
What do you mean?
That would come up in a court case.
Sure.
Because it's hired killers. That shit happened. We executed a woman because she hired a killer to kill her husband. Like, she was executed for it, even though she hired a killer.
Right.
That was supposedly good, but this was in Virginia. She was the first woman to be executed in the state of Virginia in like 70 years. She hired a killer to kill her husband. Rip. Now she's also dead. Probably not with her husband, though, I would bet. But I'm 100% for the death penalty. No questions asked. Well, yes, questions asked, but depending on crime and whatnot.
Right.
But
right.
the death penalty should definitely be there.
Yes.
I'm glad you agree.
Mm-hmm.
Shalane, do you have another one? There are two genders.
Okay. So how I feel about this, there are two genders, but I don't feel that transgenders should be looked past as not a person or whatever. You don't have a gender, you're not a person. I feel like what a transgender is, and I do believe some people may argue with me because, again, I'm not a transgender. I'm looking at it. What? I'm looking at it from... I'm observing. To me, a transgender... is transforming into another gender. So whether
Yes.
you're a female, born a female with your female parts, and you decide you want to be a male, or you feel that you were born and you should have been a male, you go ahead and go through these transgender phases, surgery, whatever you have to do, pills. But you're eventually becoming a man, and you're no longer this transgender. That's not a gender. That's, you go check
Right.
a box. It's not female, male, transgender. It's, which one are you now? What do you want to be? What do you feel you should have been? Like
Right.
a temporary state, almost just transforming. Plus or minus word.
So going off transgenders, how do you feel about the transgender bathroom law? Should that be a thing or no? Should there be gender neutral bathrooms?
No. I think that I feel like there should still be the men, women bathroom. But if you're a transgender going to be a female, whatever, if you're a male and you're in the process of transforming yourself to a female, like you dress up as a woman and all that, and you identify yourself as a woman, you should be able to go into the women bathroom. That's what you identify yourself as. That's who you are now, or that's who you should have been, whatever.
I thought you were a lot more liberal than you are actually turning out to be. Because I know I'm not liberal. I agree mostly on what the Austin says. For a lot of the things, I agree with Austin. Austin's pretty damn conservative. So I don't know where Matthew got that. I'm not really conservative. It's very strange. Shalane, do you have another one? That's really gross, Meanie. Being fat is unhealthy. Yes. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, why would you, like, overweight? You're saying just being overweight. I don't like when people say, oh, I'm not fat, I'm big boned. Everybody's bones are the same, right? Like, there's no such thing as a fat bone. Like, there might be bones that aren't strong, like you don't drink your milk or take your vitamins or whatever, but
brittle bones.
There's no fat bones. You're not fat bone. And
so should fat acceptance be a thing?
What do you mean fat acceptance?
Should the SJWs that claim that there should be, thin privilege, is a thing, in that that being fat is actually healthy, because that's what SJWs claim.
I don't think that being fat is healthy. I think being fat is unhealthy. But I do understand that some people, they can work out and eat as much healthy foods as they'd like, but it could be on it could be just mostly your genetics. Genetics are strong. If you come from like an obese family, you can do a lot to change that, but
that really sucks, though.
It does.
And Shalane's really coming in clutch right now.
What?
I was saying Shalane's really coming in clutch right now.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah, that really sucks.
You got another one, Shalane? School uniform. Should we have school uniforms or nay?
I'm all for expressing yourself. I'm all for, you should be able to wear what you want as long as it's not offensive or inappropriate. But what I believe in, even greater than expressing yourself, is bullying. There should be everything and anything that can reduce bullying as an issue should be taken into effect. And I think one thing growing up that most kids, or females specifically, get bullied for is their attire at school, and it's bullshit. And it is, and it sucks. So I'm, as much as I'm for what clothing is offensive, any clothing that says fuck you or has a gun on it or a grenade or any sort of weapon, what even does that mean, Meanie? Like slut shaming? Yeah, exactly. It's all bad. So anything Like, a school uniform is a great way to, you can't just make fun of some kid, haha, your white polo's ugly. Like, you're wearing the same exact fucking thing as me. So there's no bullying when it comes to what you're wearing. So I think that's great.
This is going well. What about
Well, probably because you rolled your skirt up 4 times, but, you know, I'm pretty sure they go to, like, the knee, no? No? That sucks then. I guess people will find any way to just make fun of you. They probably thought you were super pretty or something, honestly. That's probably why they made fun of you. Was it a girl slut-shaming you, or was it a boy?
It was probably a girl.
Then she's probably super jealous of you. Or was.
Shalane, come on.
A little slow typer. It was like everyone, basically.
Y'all wear the same damn thing.
Are you really tall? Are you
what
really
makes
tall?
you-
Does your skirt go really high because you have long legs?
What makes you a slut, but the girl next to you that's wearing the exact same damn thing, not a slut?
I'm 5'5".
I don't understand what
that's
makes
not
you
that
a
tall.
slut, but not anybody else.
Maybe she didn't mean your clothing. Maybe she meant your actions. I'm saying jealousy too. I'm gonna go with that.
That's very. I mean, if people are all wearing the same shit, so I'm like, you're a slut, but you're not, even though you're wearing the exact same thing as that slut over there.
You're all wearing white polos and a plaid skirt. I mean, there ain't
Exactly.
nothing slutty about that, but like the girls would start it.
Could be a kink. But anyway.
Oh dear.
Oh, the girls would start and the guys would join in. That's very interesting.
Oh, were you at a private school or is that public school? Because I think that is a little different. I'm typing.
Girl, you gotta type faster.
I know. That's private. Oh.
You get them, Austin.
Yeah.
Should I call
True that.
assholes?
It's very accurate.
Damn, I don't know if I have another. Oh, all right. I made one position that you challenged. It was that if a woman feels, I guess, nervous around men, then she needs to get a hold of herself. How do you feel about that?
What do you even mean by that? Like, why would you even state that? What's going through your mind to where you made that a position?
Well, I saw a tweet, and it was how one woman rejected a man, and the man stabbed her or something. And then the caption to the tweet was, "This is why women are scared around men." So that's where the position came from.
I think that person who made that comment is what? Like, she shouldn't. I don't think she's one of those people that says, I'm speaking for everyone when I say this, but it's like, we don't think that. Like, why did you even say that? Don't speak up for me. I've never heard that, honestly.
It's a crazy world.
I've really never heard that. I mean, I'm nervous. I have a boyfriend, but you can be nervous around a boy because you might have a crush on them or you're afraid of rejection, but that's a bit extreme to compare that tweet to what she said. It's just, I think that doesn't have anything. If he's nervous around a woman, I don't think that has to do with anything like murder related or whatever that tweet was meaning.
I don't think a woman should, get on a bus and go, "What man will murder me today?"
Yeah, exactly.
That is completely ridiculous. And then you should just probably live at home in a bubble. Well, Shalane, that's logical then.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you should be afraid of, well, you have your reasons, but that doesn't mean the women of the world should have a good point to be afraid to talk to a man or to sit by him on the bus if it's the only seat available. It's just kind of like, what does that mean? Anyone can.
To answer logical, she is fucking crazy, and that's probably a good thing that you just let her go, because she's crazy. She's lucky that she has a boyfriend. That's very interesting.
Would I rather be job interviewed by a man or a woman? It doesn't matter for me. I'm confident in my ability to perform well at a job, and I'm not a woman that would use my sexuality or anything about my body to get a job. So I wouldn't prefer to have a man interview me or a woman. I think that what I offer at a job interview would successfully get me that job, personally.
That makes sense. Damn.
Exactly. I agree with Shaland.
Yeah, women that think that all men are hitting on them they probably need a wake up call, because
they probably have a really big head.
Not that pretty. Should tipping be allowed?
Tipping at restaurants?
Waitresses, yes, not prostitutes. Well, tip your local prostitute, but also tip your waitress and waiter.
Right. I think people that don't tip are rude unless you actually had a very horrible experience, like you literally never ever got a refill or you could never find your waiter around. If I had a horrible experience where I got my food cold or my food came out 20 minutes before my date, I'm not going to tip you. Like, you didn't perform a good service. You're getting paid for being here, but I'm not going to tip you for the service you provided me. Now, if you performed anything from just what you should be doing, just decent, maybe you weren't even friendly, did my food get here on time? Sure. To excellent. Yeah, I'm going to tip you. If you don't tip, why would you not tip? That's part of going out to a restaurant.
So you'll tip on, how well the performance was.
Just if you're anything from if you just did bad, then I'm not going to tip you. But if you did okay to great, then I would tip you. Right, exactly. But I'm not, yeah. Right. 75% of the time I'm going to pay for a tip. Sometimes it'll be bigger than others, but about 15 to 20% is what I tip. If you take, like, if you were a bad server, then just no. Why would I give you more money?
Right. Does anyone in the comments have any positions that they would like me to, I guess, debate? Evolution. Do you believe in evolution? Thank you, Shaland.
Why don't you explain what you think?
On evolution?
Sure.
I guess, in short, that man was once apes. Apes were once something else. That something else was once something else as well. Continues down the line.
Okay, so in contrast, you don't think like we were put here from God or?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Then yeah. Well, I don't know what I believe in, but I know it's not religious beliefs like we were put here from a God.
Are 10 people watching this?
Why are you so surprised? Is that good?
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Shit. It was just at 4.
I don't even know how this thing works. I'm afraid to press a button.
Well, that's fine. When I debated Chris Cowler on evolution, we had around 7 or 8 people watching that debate. I won, obviously. It's recorded. You can watch it if you want, but he doesn't make very good points. Everyone said that I won too, so it's not just like in my head like I won.
Right.
And there's like an inside joke. Yes, Shaland. Yeah, there are a lot of inside jokes from that debate, like the deer thing. Because you would have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right, now it's 8 people.
Probably because we stopped talking.
Yeah, or 2 people found a connection, started debating. Shaland, do I have any other positions that we have not gone over? Thank you. Is income inequality good?
I want to know what you think. Like, what is your stance? I don't want to just answer a question.
Right. I'm 100% for capitalism. I think capitalism is a beautiful thing. Can I understand that? So, logically, you think that income inequality is necessary? Look at that. That's great. I think when there are rich people in this world that can afford certain things, like Teslas, in a few decades or maybe even less, a lot more cars are going to be a lot like Tesla because the rich people can buy them, and then that technology gets out, and now everyone has a Tesla. Yes, I agree. Logical.
Right.
So how do you feel about
inequality? I do agree with you, or more logical. It's just you can't pay someone the same amount just because you can get as far as someone, but you guys can be, advanced in certain skills or whatever, and you should be paid on what you provide. Otherwise, if everyone was paid the same because, the government's holding your hand and, makes it equal, then,
right.
That just messes everything up in a sense that there would be no rich, there would be no poor, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if everyone's rich, then what is everyone now?
What I'm saying is that I like how there are rich people, very rich people, and very poor people. I think that's a good thing for society to have very rich and very poor. That's what I'm saying. I don't think people should get paid all the same anyway. I agree with logical that if you have a certain set of skills, you should be paid for those skills. Whereas the next person, may not have those skills, they shouldn't be paid as much as you. So I guess, do you like in a society having very rich people and very poor people, and then everything in between, or no? That's what I'm saying by that.
Right.
Like, income equality is good.
I think that, I don't know. I'm not a homeless, poor person, if that makes sense.
Right.
Every time I see someone on the street, if I have any food on me, I will give them food. Would I give them money? No, for multiple reasons. I don't give them money, but I'll give them food. If you're starving, you need food, but money,
right.
You can easily go get a job at McDonald's. I mean, you're capable of walking there. You're sitting outside of one. Might as well walk inside and ask for a job application and apply yourself to earn money instead of being very poor. So I guess I agree with what you're saying to an extent, because if you are very, very poor to where you have no job and you're literally living on the street, come on, walk into that 7-Eleven or whatever, try get a job, apply yourself, whatever. You don't have to be that very, very poor person. If you're in that situation, you're probably doing it to yourself. I mean, unfortunately. And that's just the way it works.
Right. Lane, do I have any other positions that are not language based? Which are you from Virginia?
No, I'm from California.
All right. Well, then it doesn't matter. No one's ever challenged me on that. Virginia's flag sucks.
Do you live in Virginia?
I'm from Virginia, yes. Flag sucks.
What is it? Let me see it.
It's our state seal on a blue background. That's it. It's nothing like Texas or
and if you could
creative.
If you could
change it, I wouldn't have a seal on it. Any words on a flag are awful. It is a small image on a relatively small flag, 10, 20 feet up in the air. Nobody can fucking read it. I didn't even know it's in our seal. It's a woman like stepping on a king with like her titty out and like a javelin in his heart. I had no idea what was happening until like 2 years ago, because you have to look at it like online to like fully see it. Because when it's blown away, you can't see the woman. You're like, what is happening?
Sure.
If it's windy, you're hit because you're not going to be able to read the words that are in Latin anyway. It's not going to work. It's a terrible flag. I love Virginia. Don't get me wrong. But our flag sucks. So that's my opinion on that. Secretary Chelan, we have any more?
She
Thank you, Shalane.
just looked it up. Where are you from?
I think she's from Ireland.
Hmm.
Alabama. I was completely wrong. Wow.
Oh God.
I thought Shalane was more exotic than she actually is. Damn. I'm sorry. Wow. Alabama, I was not. Interesting. I could have sworn she was from like Ireland or England. Damn, I thought that for a long time too. Shit. Sorry.
So what is your job right now? Do you have a job?
Do I have a job? For her?
You.
I do have a job.
Both, sure. We're all in this conversation together.
I have a job, yes. I work at a grocery store. That's all you're gonna get out of me. A convicted felon. All right. Do you think convicted felons should have the right to vote?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because they're a person, and this is their country too. This is where they live.
Right. So do you think a murderer should have the right to vote? Do you think a person that has a conscience, to vote or to kill somebody should also vote someone in?
Yes, because it's just their vote, and
Votes matter.
no, I didn't watch it yet. Yeah. Bye. Don't look. You're like, go. I know. Go away. Dylan, go away. I'm talking on an app.
Hello.
I have the most immature brother ever. Whatever.
You should tell him to download the app.
No. Anyways. Yeah, he's weird. Anyways, what was I saying? They're a person, and you can't just take that right away from them. Their right to vote. It's everyone's right to vote.
Where does it say that everyone has a right to vote?
Isn't that your right as an American? I have the right to vote.
It's your duty to vote, but when you are convicted as a felon, you lose that right to vote as part of the consequence to whatever crime that you have committed that made you a felon. Felons equal you can't vote.
Is that based on the severe of felons? Okay. I don't know.
A murderer
right.
that consciously kills somebody, should they consciously vote, Tim Kaine or Hillary Clinton in for to be president?
I just gotta stick with it. I think that, they're a person, human, and I'm for, it's kind of like I'm almost polar opposite, giving them rights, not giving them rights, in my opinion. Like death penalty, yes, they're gonna die, like they're still people living in this world. Whether they vote for Hillary or Donald, it's not. Yeah, I agree, Meanie. Whether they, vote for one or the other, one of them isn't saying, oh yeah, well, pro for, the felons. I just think that there's not going to be much of it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It really
comes
doesn't.
to me, I don't think convicted felons should have the right to vote.
Obviously.
Simply because when you commit a crime that, the consequence of that is you becoming a felon, that is another consequence for you is, you've raped, you've murdered someone.
Right.
Consciously.
Right.
Then another consequence that, lasts for a long while is not having the right to vote. I know, at least in my state, Virginia, you can petition to the governor whether you should have your right to vote again.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he accepts it or not, it's up to the governor.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be like that. If someone really cares enough to vote, then they can write a letter to the governor.
Right.
And have vote. The harm in voting is what if they vote for someone that makes murder, legal? And they were a murderer.
Right.
Now the murderer is voting for someone that wants to make murder legal.
Right. And that makes sense. And I actually did think about that when I was saying something, but that would never happen. That's just
no, but
right. I understand. It's something that would potentially benefit them.
Yes,
is what you're saying. Exactly. I do see that. I'm trying to look up this website, which is off topic, but we keep jumping topics.
Yeah, well, that's why I did open discussion.
For one of my classes, we had to look at this hate map website.
Hate map?
Yeah, like a map of hate groups. Right. Very interesting, because I was unaware of all these ones. I'll just show you. You're in front of your computer, right?
Yes, I've probably seen the map.
It's so interesting. I am like shocked. I read like about all of them.
There's a lot by Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, that part doesn't surprise me because southern, east.
Yeah.
But
if you're a southerner, you're obviously racist. It just makes sense.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but.
But what?
But I mean, it's statistically shown that these. Yes, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you're from Alabama, Cheland. You're part of the hate group. Like, that's not what I'm about to say. Where is this?
I mean, I'm from the South, and Cheland's from the South. And
sure.
I would bet money that neither of us are racist or part of the hate group.
Right. And that's not what I said. I agree. I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's fine. But, there are bad eggs everywhere. And if you look at the map, there are a lot in Yankee land, too. I know in the South growing up, Cheland and I are around a lot of black people, constantly. If you're, racist towards black people, that's kind of stupid unless you live in like your own little white community, which is very hard to get in the South, unless it's a small ass town, but you will always be around black people.
Right.
And, that's how it is, So to be racist in the South is kind of retarded because you're not going to get away from them by any means.
Right.
It's like, why?
Right.
In Yankee land, yeah, you could get away. Maine is like 90% white. So is West Virginia. Very high white populations. Alabama, no, it's not as white as West Virginia or Maine. Let's see. I didn't even know Nicole was from the South, by any means. Yeah. I know Nicole.
Who are the type of people that assume, like people in your neighborhood or just people in the media? You specifically, I mean. I didn't assume. I didn't say anything about that.
No, some people just, they characterize the South as, racist, old,
Right. And I see that.
Black people.
I see that. I don't believe that.
We
but
don't.
Right. I understand. Hateful towards
we have the Confederate flag. It's in abundance here in the South. Do some of the people that wave that flag hate black people? Of course. Do some people that wave that flag just like being Southern? 100%. Yes, the people that have never been in the South are quick to say the South is racist.
All right. For the people that are meanie, for the people that are commenting about the hate groups, I'm just going to show you the map because I'm sure you've seen it, but I'll just show it. It's like, is it clear? I can't see.
It's focusing. Yeah, I saw that map.
That's pretty
Southern
crazy.
poverty law.
I mean, you see, like, you can click on these little icons and learn about them, and a
lot of them are xenophobic too. Have you noticed that?
A lot of them,
like in the South, you got the KKK.
That's the most infamous, of course. Yes.
Yeah, but in the North they got some KKK, blah blah blah. But there are a lot more xenophobic ones in the South. San Diego. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more anti-Mexican.
There are there are anti-immigrants.
Yeah.
a lot in California. They are
Yeah,
like,
'cause they're everywhere.
right. There are some I didn't know about. I just like reading these because it's just crazy interesting to me. Like there are hate groups that like Holocaust denial, they denied it ever happened and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
there's a
frustrating.
hate group for everybody.
Yeah, it's terrible. Nazis.
Meaning it's a hate group. It covers, you know, anti-immigrant, anti-black, anti-Jew, KKK, you know, Black Panthers. It's a hate group. It's on the Southern Poverty Law map,
Mm-hmm.
which is very liberal. But yeah.
This is crazy.
I mean, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Same.
It's fun debating with you. If anyone else has any positions they would like to debate me on, go ahead. I encourage you to. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.